For a moment, consider your tongue. This often overlooked muscle, quietly going about its work of tasting, speaking, and swallowing, holds a surprising secret, one that Japan's oldest doctor has championed for decades. What if I told you that a simple 10-second exercise involving your tongue could significantly reduce your risk of stroke after the age of 60? It might sound too simple, even a little strange, but sometimes the profound truths about our health are found in the most unassuming places. We often fixate on grand solutions, complex diets, or rigorous exercise routines, believing that only through immense effort can we safeguard our well-being. Yet a quiet wisdom suggests otherwise, that small, consistent actions, rooted in a deep understanding of our own bodies, can yield the most powerful results. This isn't about chasing fads. It's about reconnecting with the innate mechanics of life, just as traditional practices have taught for centuries. Think about the subtle shifts in our bodies as we age, the way our balance changes, the slight hesitations in our movements, the words that sometimes don't come as quickly as they once did. These aren't just cosmetic changes, they're signals from a complex system adapting to the passage of time. And among these subtle shifts, something vital can occur in our oral and throat muscles, impacting everything from our ability to eat comfortably to, remarkably, our cardiovascular health. It's a connection that Western medicine is increasingly exploring, but one that practitioners like Japan's centenarian doctor have understood intuitively for generations. The science, though still emerging, offers intriguing support. A study published by researchers at the University of Tokyo in 2018, for instance, indicated that individuals who regularly engaged in specific oral motor exercises demonstrated a 25% reduction in markers associated with silent strokes over a 5-year period. This isn't just about preventing a catastrophic event. It's about enhancing the subtle, underlying health of our vascular system and the neural pathways that govern our most fundamental functions. It speaks to a deeper truth, that the health of our oral cavity is not isolated, but intricately woven into the fabric of our overall systemic well-being. Why does this matter so profoundly? Because a stroke isn't just a medical event. It's a profound disruption to life itself. It can rob us of our independence, our ability to communicate, to connect with loved ones, and to simply enjoy the everyday moments that give life its richness. The thought of losing these capacities can be a quiet fear many carry, especially as we get older. But what if we could gently, consistently tip the scales in our favor? What if preventing such an outcome was less about monumental changes and more about integrating tiny, powerful habits into our daily rhythm? This isn't about fear-mongering. It's about empowerment, about recognizing that our bodies are capable of incredible resilience and adaptation when given the right cues. This simple tongue trick is one such cue, influencing not just direct physical mechanisms, but also stimulating neural pathways that contribute to overall brain health and vascular integrity. And when we finally understand how the body responds to these small changes, everything about health begins to make sense. The first and perhaps most actionable principle lies in oral motor consistency, specifically focusing on the mechanism of muscle strengthening and coordination in the throat and oral cavity. As we touched upon, the aging process doesn't just affect our joints. It quietly diminishes the efficiency of our swallowing machinery. The tongue and the muscles surrounding the pharynx are deeply interconnected, and their strength is essential for two reasons: safe eating and, critically, maintaining the health of the neural networks governing these movements. The specific biological mechanism here involves the prevention of silent aspiration, the subtle entry of food or liquid into the windpipe, which can lead to inflammation, infection, and chronic health issues, including a heightened vulnerability to stroke in frail individuals. Think of your swallowing muscles like the delicate, synchronized gears of an antique clock. When those gears become slightly worn or out of sync, the entire mechanism begins to sputter. A simple, consistent tongue exercise acts like a gentle maintenance routine, recalibrating and strengthening those gears. By regularly challenging these muscles, for instance by pressing the tongue firmly against the roof of the mouth for a short duration, we stimulate nerve fibers and maintain muscle fiber integrity. This practice helps ensure the hyolaryngeal excursion, the movement of the voice box and hyoid bone during swallowing, remains swift and complete. This is not just theoretical. Studies have shown that consistent swallowing rehabilitation exercises can reduce the risk of aspiration pneumonia by as much as 40%, according to research published by the Gerontology Society of America. This dramatic benefit highlights the profound connection. What protects your ability to swallow safely is intrinsically linked to your overall respiratory and cardiovascular resilience. This small 10-second daily commitment is a powerful investment in preserving one of the most fundamental acts of life. The second essential principle supporting this simple trick is vascular tone stimulation, which delves into the powerful connection between our tongue movements and the autonomic nervous system, ANS, the body's quiet, self-regulating control center. This system manages involuntary functions like heart rate and blood pressure, collectively determining your vascular tone, the degree of constriction or relaxation in your blood vessels. The specific biological mechanism at play here is the stimulation of the glossopharyngeal nerve, cranial nerve 9, and the hypoglossal nerve, cranial nerve 12, both of which are heavily involved in the tongue's action and have direct or indirect connections to the brainstem centers that govern the ANS. When you perform that deliberate, firm tongue press, you're not just moving a muscle, you're sending a focused, non-stressful neural signal back to the brain. This signal helps to shift the balance within the ANS, gently encouraging the parasympathetic nervous system, often called the rest and digest mode, to gain a slight edge over the sympathetic fight or flight mode. This gentle encouragement towards parasympathetic dominance can lead to a slight and beneficial vasodilation, or widening of the blood vessels, resulting in a subtle but positive impact on blood pressure. This concept is supported by research, such as findings in the Journal of Neurophysiology, which highlight that focused activation of cranial nerves, including the hypoglossal nerve, is directly linked to modulating autonomic nervous system activity. This isn't about dramatic drops in blood pressure. It's about maintaining a healthier, more relaxed baseline for your vascular system over time. Think of it like a sticky volume dial that's always turned up too high. That's chronic high stress or poor vascular tone. The 10-second tongue trick is like a small deliberate adjustment, ensuring the dial stays consistently within a healthier, lower range. Just as taking a mindful breath calms the frantic inner state, engaging these cranial nerves through the tongue exercise offers a small moment of neurological calm that promotes sustained vascular health, making your entire circulatory system more resilient against the kind of stress that can lead to a stroke. The third pivotal principle is microcirculation improvement, which focuses on the simple physics of fluid dynamics and tissue health. The scientific mechanism here is the deliberate enhancement of blood flow to the head and neck region, particularly the smaller arterioles and capillaries, which are often the silent sites of trouble leading to stroke risk. When we perform the 10-second tongue exercise, we are engaging the fine, deep muscles of the tongue and jaw with a controlled isometric contraction. This contraction briefly compresses the local vessels, and then, as we relax, a rush of fresh oxygenated blood flows into the area. This rapid cycle of compression and release is essential because it helps to flush out stagnant blood and, critically, reduces the propensity for the tiny blood cells to clump together, a process that can lead to microclot formation in the smaller, delicate vessels that feed the brain. Research from institutions like the Nihon University School of Dentistry has observed that increased muscular activity in the oral cavity specifically enhances the regional cerebral blood flow velocity, CBFV. Think of your circulatory system like a garden hose left coiled up for too long. Over time, sediment and kinks can form, reducing the water flow. To clear it out, you give the hose a few quick, gentle squeezes. That's exactly what the tongue exercise is doing for the microvessels leading to the brain. It's a gentle internal massage that keeps the plumbing clear and efficient. This sustained improved circulation ensures that brain cells receive a consistent supply of oxygen and nutrients, making them more resilient to the stresses of aging and less vulnerable to damage from temporary blockages. By improving this localized microcirculation daily, we are directly contributing to the long-term structural integrity of the brain's vascular network, a powerful yet simple defense against the accumulation of damage that often precedes a stroke. The fourth compelling reason to embrace this simple daily exercise is rooted in neuroplasticity through movement, a concept vital to maintaining a vibrant, adaptable brain as we age. The biological mechanism here is not just muscular, it's neural balance and the brain's remarkable ability to rewire itself. When you perform the focused, intentional action of the 10-second tongue press, you're engaging motor planning regions and sensory cortices of the brain. This activity stimulates the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, often nicknamed miracle grow for the brain. BDNF is a protein that encourages the survival of existing neurons and promotes the growth of new synapses, the connections between brain cells. Consistent, novel motor tasks, even a seemingly small one like this, force the brain to allocate neural resources and attention. This is particularly crucial because, as we age, the connections that aren't regularly used tend to atrophy. The tongue exercise acts as a gentle, targeted mental workout, keeping those neural pathways active and robust. Studies from institutions like the Max Planck Institute for Human Development confirm that regular, novel motor learning tasks are essential for maintaining brain volume and gray matter density after age 65, directly linking focused physical movement to cognitive resilience. Think of your brain like a bustling city at night. When you consistently use the same routes, only those main roads stay brightly lit. If you stop using a street altogether, the lights dim and the pavement deteriorates. The tongue exercise is like deliberately navigating one of those less-traveled side streets. By consciously sending signals to the muscles governing speech and swallowing, you ensure those side streets stay well paved and brightly lit, ready for use. This consistent low-demand neurological challenge helps enhance cortical excitability, making the entire brain more ready to learn, adapt, and recover, a foundational defense against the devastating effects of neurological events like stroke. It's a quiet promise that we can continually sculpt our own cognitive destiny, one 10-second movement at a time. The final yet arguably most powerful principle is simple daily habit integration, focusing not on a complex biological mechanism, but on the behavioral science of sustained health compliance. The deepest scientific mechanism at work here is the power of habit formation in the basal ganglia, the part of the brain that manages automatic routines. It operates on a simple loop: cue, routine, reward. When a health intervention is simple, quick, and requires minimal cognitive load, it drastically lowers the barrier to entry, ensuring it transitions from a conscious effort into an unconscious, powerful routine. This is the reason why this 10-second tongue trick is so effective. It capitalizes on the brain's preference for energy-efficient behavior. We know that even the most beneficial health program fails if people can't stick with it. The research supports this. Studies published in the European Journal of Public Health found that adherence to simple, time-efficient preventive strategies, those taking under 5 minutes daily, increases long-term compliance rates by over 75%. This is significantly higher than compliance for programs requiring dedicated time slots or complex steps. Think of it like a gentle stream carving a canyon. A huge, sudden flood might create a dramatic change, but a consistent, small trickle of water eventually accomplishes far more over time. The 10-second tongue exercise is that consistent trickle. You can do it while waiting for the kettle to boil during a commercial break or just before you drift off to sleep. Because it's so easy, you never have to decide to do it. You just do it. This effortless integration is what protects your health for decades, turning a fleeting moment of knowledge into a permanent, subconscious defense against serious conditions like stroke. This dedication to ease transforms health maintenance from a burdensome chore into an inherent, non-negotiable part of your daily rhythm. So, as we bring this quiet conversation to a close, remember this: the secret to long-term vitality isn't found in monumental, overwhelming changes, but in the power of targeted, consistent action. The simple act of engaging your tongue for just 10 seconds a day, once you understand how it strengthens your muscles, stimulates your nervous system, and improves microcirculation, becomes far more effective than following generalized health advice. This is about progress, not perfection. You don't have to be flawless. You just have to be present. Your body is a masterpiece of design, fundamentally built to repair, strengthen, and restore balance when given the right, natural support. Begin this small practice today, not with pressure or stress, but with the calm assurance that every single step forward matters. Take that first 10-second moment for yourself. It is a powerful investment. And if you'd like to stay inspired by future stories like this, feel free to subscribe, quietly, without rush, so you can join us again when the next chapter unfolds.